Hello, welcome to Bountiful Hope. I'm Amy Huffman, and I'm so glad that you're here. It's not easy to open up about the long road that I've walked with chronic illness, but I believe that stories carry power. This episode isn't about sickness, it's about healing, it's about persistence, it's about breakthrough, and most of all, it's about hope. Bountiful, life-giving hope. So let's begin. I've spent decades searching for answers. My health challenges started when I was young. Strep throat, rounds of antibiotics, a dry, barking cough that followed me like a shadow. It was so persistent. It became part of my identity in school. I was the kid who coughed. Alongside that came an itching, bleeding, and scabbing scalp and other symptoms that just cycled endlessly. I remember asking doctors for help and being told it was just a cough or handed steroids for my scalp with no real answers. By my teenage years, my body continued to give me signals that something just wasn't right. We didn't know what it was called at the time, but Raynaud's syndrome turned my fingers and toes ghost white with freezing cold. After soccer games, I would burn my hands on the school bus heater just trying to get feeling in them again. Migraines came in strong waves. Later, I discovered that they were tied to artificial sweeteners like aspartame, NutraSweet. Just a sip of Diet Coke would send me into a 3-day spiral of pain. But that persistent cough, it followed me into adulthood. Through pregnancies and businesses, through colds, when I laughed, smells invoked it. There it was, that cough. It was just like background noise in my life. As the years went on, the symptoms kept stacking up. Autoimmune issues, asthma, bronchitis, sinus infections, tinnitus, vertigo. I sought help from medical doctors, chiropractors, specialists, and just asked hard questions. I also constantly was praying and crying out for the Lord to heal me. While searching for answers, I began to learn about and develop a passion for natural health. I experienced great improvement with many symptoms with essential oils and supplements, but the root of the problem eluded me. I completed protocols to heal my adrenals, my gut, inflammation, so many different things, but the overarching problem just wouldn't totally resolve. And then things really changed in 2020. We started attending a new church that we love, but the building that we rented had a severe mold issue in places that we couldn't see. My daughter would react instantly. Her nose would run. She had breathing problems. The mold even affected her emotions. Mine didn't respond that way, but at the same time, my own body was deteriorating. Then we discovered something awful. There was mold behind the shower tile in our bathroom, master bedroom bathroom, and it was seeping into the subfloor, creeping into our bedroom. Get this, I had a fan blowing on me directly every night while I slept, just blowing the mold spores directly on me. This was every night for 4 years. 4 years. Throughout these years, I massively struggled to sleep. I'd wake up all through the night in tremendous pain, and I'd feel like my brain was on fire. I started having what felt like 1,000 symptoms. Food sensitivities, skin issues, coughing fits, blurred vision, numb toes, pain that never quit, insomnia, massive fatigue, vertigo, and brain fog so heavy that I just couldn't think straight. I felt like a hypochondriac. I didn't even tell my doctor half of my symptoms. And my business is natural health care. I love to teach others how to get better naturally, but I couldn't figure myself out, and I felt like a complete phony. Natural health works, but key is identifying the root cause or the root issue. I kept praying, I kept searching, and I refused to believe it was the end of my story. Eventually, through relentless research for my daughter, I discovered something called CIRS, C-I-R-S, which is chronic inflammatory response syndrome. It's a condition that's caused by biotoxin exposure. Things like mold, red tide, Lyme, COVID, and 25% of us have the gene that make us susceptible. It's triggered by exposure and if your body doesn't detoxify the way it's supposed to. An inflammatory switch turns on and doesn't know how to turn itself off. I had mold exposure, I had Lyme, I had COVID, and I also have a gene mutation called MTHFR that can cause my body to struggle to detoxify things. So it finally all made sense. When I took the test for SIRS, I failed all 13 categories, every single one. Strangely enough, that test failure felt like a gift. I finally have an answer. I'm sure some of you can relate. I finally had a name for the chaos in my body, and I wasn't imagining it. I wasn't broken beyond repair. There was a cause and a path forward. So that led me to a wellness center in Florida, where I spent 6 months undergoing intensive therapies. It meant leaving my family, leaving home, comfort, but it was necessary. From July to December, I focused on nothing but healing. And slowly, things began to change. Little by little, healing came. My scalp is healed. My toes are no longer numb. My digestion is normalizing. My vision clear. My blood sugar is stabilizing. My A1C is great. And finally, the weight that I've struggled with for decades is beginning to fall away. I am being restored from the inside out. And it would be easy to stop the story here, to say, and then everything was great. But life doesn't always work that way, does it? Right as I was beginning to stand on stronger ground, I was told I needed the open heart surgery. Another mountain and another valley and another place where fear could have overtaken me. While that was scary, I saw the faithfulness of the Lord. If I hadn't healed so deeply in Florida, I don't know how my body would have handled the heart surgery. The Lord prepared the way. He strengthened me first. Psalm 73:26 says, "My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever." In my life, I've already seen God bring healing and hope to so many areas of my life. I clung to that hope, and His strength held me through the darkest nights. He prepared the way in advance. I wasn't alone. Praise the Lord, I'm here today, healing and full of gratitude. I'm showing up saying, this is me, mess and all, because by sharing the most painful parts of our story, that's where others might see a piece of themselves in our scars. Vulnerability opens doors for connection. It reminds us we're never alone. For me, faith has been the foundation. Even when I didn't understand what God was doing, I could look back upon what He has already done in my life. One of my favorite songs is You've Already Won by Shane and Shane. I'm going to link it in the comments, but some of the lyrics go like this. I'm fighting a battle you've already won. No matter what comes my way, I will overcome. I don't know what you're doing, but I know what you've done. I'm fighting a battle you've already won. So if you're listening and your body is hurting, if you've been dismissed, misdiagnosed, misunderstood, if you're crying out for help, the Lord sees it all and walks with you even through those darkest valleys. He has you even when it doesn't feel like it. You're not broken, you're not forgotten, and you're not alone. There is hope, there is healing, there's a way forward. And whether you share my faith or not, I believe you're here for a reason. And I hope today's story encouraged you to keep going, to keep seeking, and to keep believing. There's so much to unpack about surge, chronic illness, natural health, spiritual healing, and what it means to hope again. We'll dive deeper into these journeys in future episodes. If you feel led to share your story, I'd love to hear from you. Email us at support@bountifulhope.org. Our stories empower others to overcome. Thank you for being here today. With all my heart, I'm cheering you on. Until next time, this is Bountiful Hope.